안녕하세요. 수능 지문에 대해 발표하게 된 조입니다. 먼저 첫 번째 지문은 In this question, we need to decide where the given sentence fits best according to the flow of the passage. The passage first explains how artificial intelligence can bring many benefits, like improving healthcare and transportation. Then in sentence 4, the tone changes with the word however, showing a shift from benefits to concerns about AI's ethical problems. The given sentence, without clear ethical guidelines, the rapid development of artificial intelligence could result in unintended harm to individuals or society. This explains why people are worried about AI. It gives a reason for the concerns that appear in number 4, and it naturally leads to the examples in number 5, which describes the specific issues like data privacy and bias. Therefore, the most logical place to insert the sentence is after 4 and before 5.
This is Bset question 2. First, the vocabulary of this text is here. And this sentence means without periodic eruptions, the atmosphere becomes dangerous and is closely related to the fact that volcanic activity plays an important role in maintaining atmospheric balance. If you look at the text number 1 to number 2, describe the characteristic and process of volcanic eruptions. And number 3, for the first time, maintaining atmospheric balance is mentioned it. Therefore, it is most natural to put the sentence and the atmosphere will change without such an eruption behind this part.
Okay, so next is question 3, and the vocabulary is degradation, unprecedented, congestion, sprawling, and autonomous driving. So here's the question. So the given sentence means that many people think new technology always means progress, but history shows that technology can bring both good and bad results. It means that it is going to talk about the advantage and also disadvantage of steam engine. And here this sentence means this sentence means advantage, and the next sentence means disadvantage. So this given sentence must be in number 1.
This is question number 4, and these are the words that I found. The passage explains that when a patient believes they are receiving an effective treatment, the brain releases powerful chemicals such as endorphins or opioids. This is not just an imagination, and it's a measurable and biological reaction. So even the doctor's attitude or the ritual of treatment can trigger this effect. The placebo effect itself has no chemical power, but the body reacts as if it does. This shows how the mind can transform belief into physical reality. So when the author calls it the body's greatest illusionist, it means that our brain or our mind is capable of performing the most incredible illusion, healing the body through belief. In number 2, I think it is close, but it doesn't emphasize the main idea, so it's not the answer. And number 3, this exactly matches the passage. And number 4, it is wrong because the text never mentions the side effects. And number 5, this is the opposite meaning, not connected but not separated but connected.
Question number 5. First, let's check the answer. The correct answer is number 4, the cognitive process that actively reshapes and fills in gaps in past events to create a coherent narrative. This is because the passage explains that memory is not a fixed record but a reconstructive process. In the text, it says, every act of remembering involves piecing together fragments of stored information, filling in gaps with logic, inference, and sometimes even post-event suggestions. This means that when we recall something, we don't simply replay a perfect recording. Instead, we piece together bits of information and fill in the missing parts using listening or imagination. In other words, human memory reveals the past to make it into a coherent story. The passage also states that our brain prioritizes narrative coherence over absolute accuracy. This shows that our brain values a smooth and logical story more than perfect accuracy. Therefore, the passage describes memory as an active and creative mental process which matches exactly with option 4. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about question number 6. First, let me briefly summarize the passage. The passage explains a fundamental quality of the universe, that all isolated systems naturally move toward great disorder. In other words, energy that is organized and useful becomes disorganized and less useful over time. This idea comes from the second law of thermodynamics, which says that entropy or randomness always increases in the universe. So basically, the universe is constantly losing order and spreading energy out. Now I'll explain 4 important vocabulary words from the passage. The first one is homogeneity, which means the state of being uniform or evenly mixed. In Korean, is 동질성 and 동종. And the second is spontaneously, meaning something that happens naturally without any outside force, which means 자발적으로 in Korean. And the third is inevitably, which means something that happens for sure, it cannot be avoided. In Korean, it's 필연적으로. And the last one is dispersed, meaning spread out or scattered in different directions. In Korean, it's 분산된. Next, let's look at the 2 key sentences from the passage. The first one is, all isolated systems naturally progress toward a state of increasing disorder and homogeneity. This means that all closed systems, like the universe, naturally move toward more disorder and uniformity over time. It shows how the universe always heads toward a less organized and more random state. The second important sentence is, energy that is useful inevitably becomes less useful. This tells us that even if energy starts out useful, it will inevitably lose its order and become scattered as time passes. Based on this, the phrase, the universe's relentless spender, describes how the universe constantly consumes and wastes energy. And that's why the correct answer is number 2. The inevitable process that transforms organized energy into unusable and dispersed heat over time. In short, the passage teaches us that universe never stops spending its energy. It always moves toward greater disorder and balance. Thank you.